Have you ever noticed that you or your clients end up feeling really stuck in cognitive parts during IFS work? I'm Lila Maycock, LCSW.
And I'm Kristen Stake, LCPC. And we've both experienced how hard it can be when parts are getting blended. They want to express themselves, but language falls short. Cognitive parts might take over, or parts just can't engage in the IFS insight process. That's why we've created Moving with Our Parts, a 6-week live virtual series for IFS-informed practitioners who want to bring embodiment and movement practices into their parts work.
When we externalize parts through movement and we use space to map relationships between parts and self, something shifts. Parts that couldn't find words suddenly have a voice. Insights that stayed cognitive suddenly become embodied, and emotions can be felt and expressed. And especially for those who overthink or tend towards dissociation or are neurodiverse, it allows us to find new pathways to healing.
So let us show you what this can look like. Do you have a part that you want to work with today?
Yeah, I have this caretaking therapist part that comes out when, especially when I can feel like a client is in a particular form of distress, or there is kind of this, I can feel parts of them asking for help in a way that is activating to me. Yeah, so it's kind of my caretaker, my therapist caretaker part.
Aha, therapist caretaker. Very relatable for most therapists, I'm sure. Is it okay if we work with this a little bit?
Yeah.
So the first piece is just checking out your body, just sensing into your body inside and outside and seeing if you can find where this therapist caretaking part is showing up right now.
Yeah, they mostly show up in my like chest.
Hmm.
There's like an activation of sensation and like
Hmm.
kind of a closing in, but also like a reaching toward forward.
Wondering about maybe staying with that movement that you're already doing, Lila, of closing in and reaching forward with your shoulders and your hand. And the invitation is to stay in this. Let this caretaking part consciously blend with you here in your body for a few moments. And what's happening now?
I'm noticing I still feel kind of like this heat
Hmm.
in the center of my chest, but there was kind of this panic that I was feeling in the reaching like up and out and towards.
Hmm.
And some of that panic has gone. And I was also like so narrow. Like I felt like my eyes and my ability to take in felt so narrow as I was going up and out.
Hmm.
And I noticed as I come back a little bit, like everything starts to kind of like soften and widen ever so slightly. Yeah, and there's this feeling of like I can feel this one almost this part almost like having this realization of like remembering what like oh remembering I can go backwards, like remembering there is this almost this choice to return into like feeling more cradled by the back body,
Hmm. Hmm.
a bit of like oh there's self.
Hmm. Hmm.
There was when I was feeling like when I this one was like really in this, there was this feeling of like I don't think there's another choice. Like I just have to go towards.
Yes.
it doesn't matter if I'm unbalanced, like I just have to keep going towards. And then like it's just like a subtle like tip of my tailbone was what reminded me that like, oh yeah, my whole spine can almost be this like thread or this anchor.
Hmm. Hmm. So it sounds like staying with the reaching of this caretaking therapist part actually reminded you of your back body and that you could move back and forth between this part reaching and moving backwards towards more self energy, more warmth, more widening.
Yeah. Yeah. On this one, this caretaker realize, didn't realize the intensity of the experience until I was in the position, until like I could witness myself in that position, in that reach, in that movement. Uh,
Yes.
oh, I didn't know that that's where we were. I didn't realize that that's how stuck I felt in that position, how trapped I felt in that position.
So it makes me wonder how you might draw from this experience when you meet with your next client today.
Yeah.
Is there anything from moving through this part and back into self energy that you want to take with you?
Yeah, there's parts like really like liked this movement, like wants to do almost like practice that just so that there's this like embodied remembering of like I know when I'm out here, I can choose to come back.
Mhm.
And then there's this other layer of how how quickly it felt like my eyesight changed. Like I felt so narrow and kind of constrained as I was going towards. And then not pulling back, there was this widening. So I'm just noticing like wanting to track what's happening with my vision, what's
Mm,
happening with like how narrow I feel when in session with a client as like a notifying like, oh, this one's feeling activated.
right, like that might be a cue or a trailhead that that part's getting blended with you and a reminder to be in relationship to it. It's
Hmm.
like also a reminder that you have a back body
Hmm.
and widening is a possibility, even, or even pendulating back and forth between narrow forward and wide back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if that could even be a micro kind of movement that you could do in session that maybe a client wouldn't even be aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. I can even feel just like around my rib cage. I can do a kind of a subtle closing and opening.
Mm,
My breath.
nice. Thanks for sharing that part with us. I think all therapists can relate to wanting to caretake, especially when clients are dysregulated and um, having a really difficult time. And so, thank you for sharing this embodiment of this part for you. So, what you just saw us do is one of the many practices that you'll learn how to work with in your own internal system through externalizing and embodying parts, as well as deepening yourself to part connections.
So if you'd like to learn more, you can join us for 6 live online classes on Wednesday nights, and this starts on January 21st, 2026. And if you join us, you'll be leaving with embodied practices that you can use immediately with your own system to become more self-led, not only with your clients, but also in your relationships in your outer world.
So, early bird pricing lasts until November 25th, and you can learn more and register at somatictherapymaine.com. We hope to move with you soon. Thank you so much.